Oh, it's me today. Ah, right. I was waiting for you. I was like, Renee, when are you going to start talking? Welcome into the PHLY Phillies pregame show. Today is a special one as we get to do, well, since it's a client-sponsored show here, Renee, I feel justified in opening a cold, delicious Miller Lite.
Crack that bad boy open, Jamie.
But we're doing a
day.
little pregame show, watch-along party. We got some great food coming in from Gall & Co. Really excited for that. I'm thinking maybe the kielbasa cheesesteak makes an appearance here today. But the Phillies, of course, are going for the closeout, another sweep of the Texas Rangers. We'll go through the lineup here momentarily. If you can give us a thumbs up in YouTube that all is going smoothly on your end, we'd appreciate it. But the Phillies have a chance here at a 3-game sweep of the defending champs. And yes, John Heyman, another team the Phillies sent below 500. So please drop that narrative. It's dumb and tired, and we hate seeing it. But Renee, the World Series champs are not the World Series champs of last year. A little bit underperforming. First time under 500 under Bruce Bochy during his time there. But the Phillies doesn't appear to matter who is on the other side of them right now. They are just locked the hell in. And Taijuan Walker last night lets up the 2 early runs. I kind of was thinking like, oh, I guess we're going to get a Spencer Turnbull, extended appearance here. And it doesn't matter. The Phillies come right back, like we've talked about, their ability to answer, blow the doors off the Rangers. Teams seem to break when they're playing the Phillies. 4 errors in the field last night, resulting in 4 unearned runs. Doesn't matter. Phillies, they're a wagon.
Exactly. This was another time, and I've been paying closer attention to it as of late. Another time when the Phillies, every game we've been seeing this, and we saw this last night, giving up runs, and you literally respond back. That is the making of a really good team, that you can answer back, and you can make sure that you're not allowing teams to hold on to leads. The moment they feel like they're getting going against the red-hot Phillies, here comes the Phillies answering right back with runs of their own. So, it was just great to see all the excitement, the history that was made last night, Jamie. Another game where we walk away saying it's a first for the Phillies, and not only for the Phillies,
it's a long list.
they're now tapping into also more and more history with Major League Baseball, which is phenomenal to see as well, because as we know, the history of the Phillies over the 142 seasons hasn't always been great.
Mostly bad. Yeah.
So it's also great to see that they're making some history as well around Major League Baseball, which has been really fun.
Yeah, the best 50-game start in franchise history. The fact they've won this many games to this point, 36 and 14. We're spoiled doing this show because you don't really ever have to talk about losses on our post-game show, and we'll be doing one today, and the Miller Lights will be flowing in the Gall & Company or Gall & Co. I'll have to ask him about that if Co can be, because the owner is going to be joining us.
Yeah.
Are all Co's an abbreviation of company?
That's the thing. Like, I feel like some businesses go by Co.
Yeah.
You don't call them.
We'll get to
company.
the bottom.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. Since Gall & Co will be here with us.
But Phillies continue to be really, really good. Now, taking the mound today for the Texas Rangers is Andrew Heaney. He is a left-handed thrower who's started 9 games so far this year, a 4.43 ERA. The whip is at 1.23. The Phillies have a little bit of a different lineup today with at least Yoro getting the day off. Andrew Heaney, this is a guy they should be able to get to. And, on the other side of that, just this guy named Zack Wheeler. And we've kind of talked about this cycle of Phillies pitchers, and it really is the reason why they're just stacking 15 consecutive series wins together, because there's no breaks. Ranger starts the series out. Then you got your opportunity against Taijuan, and then, Zack Wheeler is coming in on game 3. So unless, there's really just no breaks. I mean, you're getting 2 of the top 3 favorite Cy Young candidates in this series if you're the Rangers, and that just sucks for them. It's really good for the Phillies.
Well, I want to just give a special thank you to the Phillies because they're always being thoughtful. They knew we had a lot to talk about in this pregame show, Jamie. So the game's been actually delayed. It's been pouring in South Philly. I could say it because the storms that happened earlier today was really coming down, and then it cleared up, and it was kind of like sprinkling throughout the course of the day. So the Phillies did just tweet out a few minutes ago that the start of the game is delayed. Further updates will be provided as they become available. I never liked that, actually. That always makes me extremely nervous.
I thought it was supposed to clear out by like 11.
Well, it did. It did, actually.
It was nice driving in.
It's been sprinkling. So it is weather day. So let me give you the weather update. Please
break it down for us, Renee, right here on our green screen.
This morning, it was raining approximately until 10:30 a.m. We had some light thunderstorms, some rumbling in the skies, and it was really coming down heavily. Now, the rain did stop right around lunchtime. As I was eating my delicious lunch, I did get a chance to see the rain break. But unfortunately, it did pick up a little bit. So it's currently forecasted to start raining at 1 p.m. There's a 95% chance of rain at 1 p.m., but it also is supposed to pick up again at 3 p.m. The weather forecast has a break at 1, from 1 to 2, it'll rain, break from 2 to 3, and then pick up again 3 to 4. So that makes me a little nervous when they say until further notice, because like we know, when we were at the game on Saturday versus the Nationals, it was postponed until 6:30. It was easy. It was a quick 25-minute postponement. Super simple. But the fact that they said until further notice makes me a little bit nervous.
I'm right there with you.
Because are we about to be sitting here on this?
We're going to be here for the next 12 hours.
It is only a 5% chance at 3 and 4 o'clock, which makes me think that's some sprinkles.
No.
That shouldn't be anything too bad. But that 1 o'clock time,
Come on.
I think what they're trying to avoid is that 1 o'clock shower that we're expected to get, because that's not great to see.
Tyler, is it currently raining out the window right now?
I don't know.
My
I can't
phone is
see.
raining.
We have these like kind of like semi-blackout curtains. They're not like totally blackout curtains, but they dim the light. I can't see anything. I'll be honest with you. This might be a 7-hour pregame show.
No, this is the normal length pregame show. We'll talk about our pregame show duties.
Again,
and wait until the game starts.
And Casper's right. We might need more beer if this thing.
I was going to say, at least we'll have kielbasa cheesesteaks.
The 3 beers you got on the table right now are not going to cut it.
All right, I got the, I'm deep diving the Doppler here.
And Hypothetical Man said we got to get Renee some milk while we drink our beer.
Yeah, give me some milk, please.
So,
I'll take
Renee,
2%.
as you see this pocket right over us right now, that must be the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock rain.
But again, it's only a 5% chance at that time.
This is coward shit. Play ball.
The rain is moving. I think this is a little. I think it's a little soft, to be honest. It's 0.25 inches that we're supposed to get.
Hold on.
In the next. What is happening?
What?
Are you looking out the window?
Did you just leave?
Hurricane Jamie? Oh wow, we're bringing in the.
Come on!
I think you're messing up our shot.
It's not even raining.
Maybe bring that bad boy down a little. Jamie is actually currently opening the blinds so we can see for ourselves. It actually is a drizzle.
You don't have to explain it. I can hear him through all the way over there. We're getting levels. Don't worry. You don't have to. You don't have to play-by-play Jamie screaming at the window.
Watching, so they know what that sound is. It's Jamie opening the blinds or whatever you want to call them.
Ridiculous.
It is spitting. Ball. It's also spitting outside.
Spitting? But we're doing rain delays for spitting?
But I wonder how much is because of this. And this morning,
back in my day, we played ball in the rain. This is ridiculous.
But what also is annoying is because this morning it stopped at like.
It's not even raining.
But it was, don't get me wrong, it poured for a few hours.
They'll probably be right, and it'll probably start raining heavy at like 1 o'clock.
It's 12:51 though.
They have an advanced weather system.
So, by the way, here's the issue with today's game too. Obviously, the Phillies tomorrow have to go to Colorado
for weather day.
to go to play the Rockies. Texas has to go to Minnesota to play the Twins. Both of these teams have fairly significant flights ahead of them.
Move this game along.
You're either playing today or you're not. But like. They're not gonna. There's no consideration of like that was a stupid statement. Let me rephrase that. Obviously, you're either playing or not. You're either playing today or you're playing way down the line.
They need to absolutely play.
You're not playing tomorrow.
Today.
Is what I was trying to say.
There's no reason why this game should be postponed to another
ridiculous.
Day. It is sprinkling outside.
What was Ed Rendell's favorite line? A nation of wussies. Come on, play ball. Play ball. Like, come on. You can play in a spit.
This is absolutely reason to crack open our Miller Lights. You guys, make sure you get your Miller Lights because Miller Lights does always give you that great beer. You can feel good. It's less filling, which we love, especially summertime, because as you're outside enjoying the summer weather, the sprinkling of rain like today, you want to make sure you have the original light beer that you can be able to have to quench your thirst. And with Miller Lite, they keep it simple. They want to make sure they've got the undebatable quality, that great taste, and only 96 calories. And it's a beer that strips away everything that you don't need to make sure that you're holding on to what matters most. Baseball and Miller Lite and games starting on time. A light beer that tastes like beer, less filling, only 96 calories. They always give us the nice, refreshing Miller Lite that we can have here on the show with you. And you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste, is less filling, and it tastes like Miller time, guys. Let's grab those Miller Lites, because to get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, you can visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phils, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than the premium regular beer. I think I will crack open my Miller Lite as well right now. It's time. We've got some time until game time.
Yeah, Miller Lite wouldn't let you down in a sprinkle. Neither would Bet Parks. When this game does start, because of, God forbid, we play in a couple spits of rain. Oh, no. Well, Bet Parks has got you covered. If you want to get some action in the game, just looking at the game lines right now on Bet Parks, the Texas Rangers are a plus 165 against Zack Wheeler on the money line. Phillies, you can get it minus 195. Phillies are a wagon right now. So if you don't like the 195, you can take them on the run line minus 1.5 at plus 110. That's a pretty good bet against Andrew Haney, a guy they should really kind of get to a little bit today, especially with the righty lineup. Over-under is at 8, so if you want to get in there, whatever it may be, I kind of like the Celtics. I like the Pacers in game 1 plus the 10. I think they kind of punched the Celtics awake a little bit. Celtics are laying 8.5 tonight, so kind of like them a little bit. Whatever the action is you're looking for, Bet Parks has got you covered. Win big with all-day action. Win your first $10 bet and earn $125 in sports bonus bets. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet with Bet Parks. Download the app and play along with us. Must be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right.
This is ridiculous. I am beyond irritated. I had a couple annoying things today happen where it was like the aggregation internally was building.
Oh no.
And I just kept saying, Jamie, your daughter's graduating preschool tomorrow. You're going down the shore as a family. Really looking forward to the weekend. Don't let it get to you. This is your Friday.
Right.
And then this happens. And it's bringing it all out of me again, Renee.
If there were ever a day for Jamie to yell at somebody to get off his lawn, this might be it.
Yeah.
This might be the day.
I mean, I'm sorry. You look out the window.
Jamie's going to yell at some random child tonight.
It's going to spit a couple drops of rain and we can't play ball? Yeah. And yes, this is selfish because it extends my day here. And the packing of the car and all the other things I have to get to tonight. So regardless, I hope we start relatively soon. But I'm with you. I hate that they said, no time frame.
That is never good.
Saturday was like, it's going to start in a half hour.
Correct.
And they nailed it. In credit to them, they nailed it on that night. But this looks a little lame.
This is not good at all. And again, I don't understand the reason for it, because as someone that lives almost like I can see the ballpark from my house. And I know it was raining this morning because even I was like, oh no. And I started to text you guys, but then it stopped. By 11 o'clock at the latest, it was done.
Yeah.
So that's plenty of time if you need to, touch up the field a little bit or fix anything. Like, that's plenty of time. And then it's been spitting outside ever since. I do not understand why the game has been delayed and delayed without details. Like, are we getting a 20-minute delay? Are we getting an hour delay?
No,
super concerning.
No way to sugarcoat this one.
Super concerning. Super concerning. But let's get into some positive. I feel like this is a great chance. Reset the mojo, especially for you, because you got a lot going on this weekend. This is your Friday, Jamie.
It is my Friday.
And we should be ending on some Friday vibes for you.
Yeah, so here's the starting lineup today whenever they do start. Leading off Kyle Schwarber in the 2-hole, and he's really, frankly, thriving there. It's kind of a shame because I really do think you could have a better lineup. I'm not going to get into that discussion because JT seems like kind of Tyler, Renee, kind of perfect in the 2-hole.
I love him in the 2-hole.
He seems to be thriving there. I don't know. I'm not going to harp on it.
Listen,
but he's been great there.
He's been awesome, but I am going to tell you the best 2-hole hitter on this team is Trey Turner.
Well, I would say possibly he's the best leadoff man.
I disagree. I think that Trey Turner is best served as a two-hitter.
Then Bryce Harper's a better leadoff man. I'm not getting into that
that's
discussion.
a different conversation
But
for a different time. You're never going to win that fight.
The point is,
I'm
right
not getting into it. The Phillies are 36-14. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I should have never even said anything.
Bring it back.
JT Realmuto, I'm just trying to praise him in the 2-hole. He's great.
Oh, he's been awesome. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah. I just think Trey Turner's a better leadoff. 3-hole, you got Bryce Harper. In the 4-hole, the hottest man on the face of the earth gets another 2 RBIs last night. Put your boy Marcelo Zuna in the rearview mirror, Renee. In the 4-hole, Castellanos in the 5-hole. Stott gets the start versus the lefty today in the second base spot. Sosa, really impressive home run last night to right center. Takes down the ladies' Nachos. Was that last night or was 2 nights ago? That was 2 nights ago. Merrifield playing in left field, and Christian Pache in the 9-hole playing center field. So it's a righty-heavy lineup. Stott does get the start versus the lefty. This is a guy that when they Marsh gets the seat today, obviously. When they look at the analytics of Marsh versus lefties, Stott versus lefties, I think they try to put him in advantageous situations versus lefties they think they can hit. Maybe Marsh just needed a day off, but it tells me that maybe Stott has a good chance of hitting Haney today, and they like the numbers here. So that's your lineup. It's solid. You're going for the sweep. All is good.
Correct, and you're going for another, some other streaks to continue the unbeaten series streak, because regardless, that's a lock. They already locked down. This is another series that they have been unbeaten. But yes, we are continuing to monitor the game time. I know, Tyler, you had the note that the estimated game time is 1:45.
Yeah, that's what Scott Lauber said.
Okay.
1:45 is what we're looking at. So I guess we'll probably get an update in about 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Boo. All right. Well, then here's some other updates for you guys, because it has been a very exciting time. You look at yesterday's win.
That was awesome.
So fun to watch. And it's wild to even think that at one point the Phillies were down 2-0, because yet again, as we keep talking about and pay attention to it moving forward, they continue to respond when they give up runs and they're down, that they instantly are, scoring again. And I would wonder how many games they've actually been down by more than 2 runs. Some of the games they lost, yes, but realistically,
no. To your point, they're in every single game.
And even some of the ones that they lost,
like one of the Cincy
by
games
a run.
back when they were on the road, they were down.
I would say the first 2 series might be the only series they were down by more than 2 runs.
And when they do get last night they just come right back.
They just come right back.
And they just get it right
They're
back.
They're not allowing anybody to get a 2-run lead. I'm going to start tracking it moving forward.
I'm sure we can look it up when we dive into some of the nerd sites today.
Yeah.
They really are kind of insane.
Exactly.
They don't stay down long. They stay in every game. They come back. They take advantage of other teams' mistakes. They're doing everything possible right.
And that is why the Phillies have their best 50-game start ever in club history, to be at 36-14. That has never happened for a Phillies team ever. And then also to put themselves in the best in Major League Baseball since back in 2001 with the Seattle Mariners, who had that best 50-game start. The Mariners at that point did win 116 games on the season. And I know Rob Thompson was asked about it last night of being in that conversation. I loved his answer when he was asked about, it was brought up about the Phillies having the best start since 2001. And Phillies manager Rob Thompson said, "What did they do?" And it was
Matt Gelb. He goes, "They won 116 games."
And then Rob was like, "But what did they do at the end?" And now it's like, they did not win it all. He's like, "That's right. So you just have to keep going. You just have to keep pushing." So I looked. And since 1940, there have been only a few teams that have actually won the World Series and had the great start in the first 50 games. So here's some nuts and bolts for you, because only 42 other teams have ever won 36 of their first 50 games. Only 26 of them have been in the modern era since 1900, because we always go back to the modern era, the start of that, to look at things. So in the history of baseball, 26 in the modern era, 42 ever. And the last, of course, being the 2001 Mariners. Now, of those 26 in the modern era, only 11 of them actually went on to win the World Series. So less than half of those teams.
Pretty good odds,
but that's good odds.
Yeah,
but that
I'll
is
take
less
those
than half.
odds. As a betting man.
19 of them did win 100-plus games, so that's good odds also.
19 to 26.
19 of 26 went on to win 100-plus games on the season. And then since 1940, the only teams that have won a World Series with a 50-game start like this, it was back in 1953 with the Yankees, 55 with the Dodgers, 84 with the Tigers, the 98 Yankees, and of course the, no, not the Bears, I'm sorry. That's it. The 53 Yankees, the 55 Dodgers, the 84 Tigers, and the 98 Yankees that have all went on to actually win the World Series since 1940. Everybody else was pre-1940. So yet again, as I was like diving through the list of, teams that were in that conversation, we have to go back decades and decades as to who else has been able to, achieve this feat, but then also more importantly, gone on to win the World Series. Because as Rob is mentioning, as we all know, do we really care if at the end of this year, we're like, the Phillies don't win the World Series and we're able to say, oh, but they had a great start. Oh, but they were on pace to win 100 games, or they did win 100 games in the regular season. No, as fun as this has been, the guys in the clubhouse know this is all par for the course. Like if you're expecting to win the World Series, you're expecting to have success leading up to it. But you're expecting that success to continue as you win the World Series.
Yeah,
so they're staying locked in and focused.
I thought it was awesome leadership by Rob Thompson last night. Yeah, because like baseball, in baseball regular season, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. And I think that's kind of Rob's like mantra with this. It's like, okay, yeah, like those 50 games don't matter anymore. Let's, focus on these next 50. And then at the end of the season after 162, none of that matters. Let's focus on these 3 or these 5. And it's kind of, the long view, 30,000 foot right way to do things. And for him to bring up that the Mariners didn't get it done is perfect. And I think that reverberates through the organization, down through the clubhouse, and everybody buys in. This team clearly loves the dude. He's a really good manager. Every baseball manager is going to make decisions you don't agree with in certain moments in a situation. I don't really have any concerns about Rob other than projecting ahead to the postseason, like trusting his guys too much. But maybe, giving Castellanos 162 games to figure it out, and he doesn't figure it out by the playoffs. Maybe then he goes, all right, Nick, like I gave you every opportunity. So we'll see. Like that's my only concern is he might trust his guys too much come playoff time if it's not working. But that's a silly thing to talk about in May. So Rob Thompson's a really, really good manager, and I thought that was a perfect encapsulation of what makes him a great manager last night. Answering that question by Matt Gelb. I thought it was an awesome interaction.
Oh, it was remarkable to see. And I know these are the types of things that you love to hear coming out of the clubhouse. Every time a guy is interviewed, whether it's a player, whether it's Rob, whoever it may be, the answers they're giving are consistent. They're humble. They're focused. It's the idea, the mantra of like, I'm just here to do my job, and I'm focused now on the next game. I did my part. We won, and I'm focused now on the next game. And shout out to John Lemmerman for doing his part because he did take some time to deep dive the recent losses and said that the last 4 losses for the Phillies have been by 5 runs total.
That's wild.
And 2 of the last 4 losses have been in extra innings. Thank you, John, because that is exactly what I've also noticed. Aside from the opening weekends and the opening 2 series even, the Phillies have been in games. And we talked about that. I remember saying in like November or December, one of my goals for this team is to have good losses versus those losses where they just don't show up. And they're having good losses.
Yeah.
It's been extra innings. It's been down to the wire.
Yeah, somebody tweeted me last week. It was like, none of this moral victory stuff in the loss.
That's a moral victory,
And
though.
I was like, they were down. I forget what game it was. And when they were down late, they were down like 4 runs. Like
the Mets?
Was it the Mets? And they came back and they came up short, but they had 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 9th.
I think it was that last game against the Mets that they lost.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, none of this moral victory stuff. And I was like, dude, the fact that they even put themselves in a situation to win that game is something great to build off of. Because sure, like, if it's Alec Bohm and Bryson Stott standing on second and third at the end of the game, like that's something they put in their pocket and they go, we had no right to win tonight and we almost still won. So like call it whatever the hell you want. It's a good baseball team that's never out of a game.
Well, game 1 of that series, they came back and did win. The final game of that home and home, they lost. But those are games that you now actually can go back to and you can look at next time, what will we do differently versus if you get blown out of the water and you're losing by, several runs and it's over early and ugly. So I do believe there is such thing as a good loss, especially in the early part of the season. And especially when you are winning so many games, because you don't want to have a huge dip off where like you're winning, and then you lose by like 10 runs.
Yeah.
Like you want it to be, okay, we just lost today because of a couple mistakes that we can tweak. So I do believe in that. But there's some other exciting numbers that are worth sharing, Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you have some, or do you want me to go first?
Hit me.
All right. So, so the Phillies, let's stick to the team. And then I've got some individuals for you as well, because listen, when you're winning, there's always great numbers to talk about. The Phillies haven't lost consecutive games. I know we've been talking about this, but to put it into context and numbers, they haven't lost consecutive games in 4 weeks. As we know, they, of course, have won 5 straight. They've won 8 of their last 9. They've won 21 of their last 25 games. And since April 15th, they've won 28 of 34 games. That is the first time that has happened for the Phillies since 1895. Do you remember what we were all doing in 1895, guys?
Trying not to catch dysentery.
As a woman, I would be somewhere having like my 11th child and like baking a pie with a corset on
A nice
under
bonnet.
my like big dress. Yeah, in 1895, that is the last time that the Phillies had a stretch like this. Yes, which is insane. That was a time, and I believe this was I forget which piece, but they actually broke down. That was a time that it was Big Sam Thompson and Brewery Jack Taylor that were leading the squad. Yes, we all remember that. The Phillies have also scored at least 4 runs in each of their past 12 games. Another positive, because there was a time we were saying they were not scoring. Their offensive production was not there. This is the first time in 20 years that the Phillies have had such a streak. And the club record is 17 straight games of scoring at least 4 runs. And that 17 straight game record was set in 1934.
Wow.
That team actually did not finish the season off well. They were very much under 500. So we're not going to talk about that. But again, another streak that more streaks that date back over 100 years.
Do you want to know what the big news story of 1934 was?
Oh God, is that what you were doing?
That's what I was just Googling. Yes. So I didn't deep dive this. This is a real surface level skim of 1934 big events. But the most major events in 1934 were certainly the shooting of Bonnie and Clyde in April 1934 and John Dillinger in July 1934. So the Feds had a couple hot months there, as hot as the Phillies, some would say, catching Bonnie and Clyde and John Dillinger in like a 3-month period. So that's how long it's been, Renee.
I would like to think that's a different type of a hot stretch.
I mean, that's a hot stretch for the authority.
Can you just imagine being back in a time where like if that happened, we wouldn't have heard about it until like 3 weeks later?
Oh yeah,
when would like the Daily Chronicle posted it, or like you heard it.
Oh wow,
from
Fenway Park. Fenway Park went up in flames for the second time in 1934. The first being in 1926. So Fenway Park really had a tough couple of year stretch there.
Speaking of going up in flames, did you guys see the Dodger Stadium the other day? There was a car outside on fire, and the guy was playing "We Didn't Start the Fire."
That was really good work. I haven't mentioned this yet, but have you guys seen what's going on in Seattle this year in terms of fan interaction?
They're dropping hot dogs from the sky.
It is amazing.
Ew.
So they are doing they're playing Madonna. I don't know if it's the 7th inning
Yeah,
stretch.
they're parachuting hot dogs out of
Are
planes.
they wrapped in like foil?
No, they're just hot dogs.
They're not just like out in the
No,
open.
they're not just out in the
they're
open.
wrapped in foil so people can eat them. They're playing "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" by Madonna over the loudspeaker, and then they're flying little drones around the stadium and dropping hot dogs to
This
people.
is like a dream come true.
It's amazing.
Can they drop some ketchup and mustard also?
I mean, you might have to.
Is that
go
asking
up.
for a
You
lot?
might have to raw dog that hot dog unless you want to go up to the kids.
You like weirdly like saying that word. It's kind of
Well, you know, it just means yeah.
Actually, that would be a dream. I would love that. You guys
Yeah.
know I love hot dogs.
All right, so I
grilled
have this
food.
1934 timeline in front of me now. John Dillinger
Lord.
gang robbed a bank of $20,000 from First National Bank in East Chicago in January of that year. So they were hot on his tail. Dillinger was doing some damage.
Wow.
Franklin FDR, heard of him? He signed the Gold Reserve Act, so that's pretty cool. There was a lot happening in 1934, including the Soviets getting involved in the space. A lot of stuff happening.
Oh man.
Bobby Taylor, the producer of the Jackson 5, was born. So we could go on and on about 1934.
Oh my gosh, that was a great time.
But the point is,
now
it's
do
been a long time.
1895.
1895. Major events of 1895.
And while Jamie is doing that, because I know you're not going to listen to me while I share these numbers anyways.
Well, I was listening last time. That took me to 1934, Renee. All right.
All right, so JT, you found it that fast?
Well, Google gives you the little synopsis.
I'll give you time to semi deep dive that.
This is another murder. Google's real horny for the murderers and bank robbers.
Well, because that's all that people share is who was
guess.
killed. So JT Realmuto, as we know, is off to a hot streak himself. Ever since moving up into the two, oh no, the two hole.
A local tie.
JT has been on a hitting streak now of 12 games as of Wednesday, so that's a positive to watch. Now, the 12-game hitting streak does tie his career high. It's the third time that he has reached the 12-game mark with a hitting streak. The last one was June 18th to July 5th back in 2018. It is also the longest hitting streak of his Phillies career and the longest by a Phillies catcher. Do you want to guess who had the last 12-game hitting streak as a Phillies catcher?
Oh, as a catcher.
Yes. Tyler, do you know?
I feel like Dutch had a couple streaks in him.
I might go a little more recent than that. I think I'm going to go Lieberthal.
It was back
I'll stick with Dutch.
in 2006.
2006.
Oh, so it was Chris Coast.
Chris
it was
Coast.
when he was baptizing his bats in the fire. Do you remember he would do that? Or was that? Yeah, that was Chris
I didn't
Coast.
remember that.
I think he's from North Dakota or something. And
North Dakota?
Yeah, before every spring
think that's how they
training,
say
he would
it.
put his bats in the fireplace, campfire, and it was his thing.
Let's gather around the
Nobody remembers that? That was
campfire
just
and
a-
burn
I
our
don't know. Maybe that's
bats
why it
free.
took him 800 years to get to the big leagues. He was
Actually remember
burning
that.
his
It was a
bats.
great
story.
There's
That's
no
a great
contact
story.
when your
Bats
bat's
were
on
breaking.
fire. What is this, slugfest?
That was July 8th to August 3rd of 2006 that Chris had that 12-game hitting streak. So JT also making some impressive streaks himself because, as we know, the Phillies have been fantastic, still rolling, even since Trey Turner has gone down, to continue to keep their winning ways. Now, another fun fact for you. This is with Matt Strahm, my guy. Woo! They make sure I do that every time.
He's been great.
Hold
fantastic.
on. If we're saying players are our guys, Matt Strahm's
very
been my
much
dude
Matt
for 2
Strahm's
years
guy.
now. We're not
Yeah.
playing that game.
She means
Is
her
he on your team?
Tyler,
Is he on
reset
your
the
team?
clock.
Oh,
Is he on your team?
It's
Oh,
you
wow.
just fell into a
I
fantasy
didn't-
trap.
No, I
All right.
didn't do it.
Reset the clock.
that's not my
Reset
fault.
back to 0.
Never mind.
I think
No,
we're
but-
actually at -2.
negative 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Pep.
You owe us days.
So Matt Strahm allowed 2 runs on opening day of the season. In the 54 days since that, he has thrown 20 1/3 scoreless innings.
Unbelievable.
20 1/3. So according to some stats, Strahm has become the first Philly in, of course, the modern era, you guessed it, to have a 20-game span where they allowed no runs, struck out at least 29 batters, and issued 2 or less walks. He's also just the sixth. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq. Six. I'm trying to think of all the ways I can say six. Sixth major league pitcher that accomplished this feat. Do you want to guess how many, or I'm sorry, do you want to guess which other pitchers in Major League Baseball history have gone 20 games, allowing 0 runs, striking out at least 29 batters, and issuing 2 or less walks? There are 5 others, and you might be able to get some of these guys.
Can you run the question again?
Okay.
Yeah, I got lost in the question also. 5 guys.
There are 6 total pitchers
with
that
20
have,
plus?
in the modern era, and a few of them are very, very recent, in the modern era that have gone 20 games where they've given up 0 runs, struck out at least 29 batters, and have also given up 2 or less walks in a 20-game span.
20 games?
One.
Say Brad Lidge.
Okay.
But
And you know
was a heart
what?
attack
It's
waiting.
not going to be names that.
Larry Anderson, I think, had a really good streak. Is
Okay.
he on there?
No.
Is this strictly Phillies or are we talking Major League
No,
Baseball?
Major League Baseball.
Oh, Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
I
this
was
is-
going Philly.
So,
only. Okay.
so just to clarify, since y'all missed it, Strahm became the first Phillies pitcher to ever do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is somebody that used to be a Phillies pitcher that did it with a different team. There's a clue for you.
This is hard.
This is hard because this is like really
so
difficult.
It's 20
actually.
games,
20 games,
29
span,
strikeouts.
29
This is
strikeouts.
very
Walks.
specific.
This is super specific.
Very.
And it's
And
not
zero
gonna
and
be-
0 runs.
Who?
0 runs.
Eric
has
Zero
to be-
runs.
Eric Gagne.
No.
Francisco Rodriguez.
No.
John Smoltz.
Billy Wagner.
No.
The Cuban Missile, Aroldis Chapman.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Remember when he was like
Um,
feeling up his grandma?
Zach Britton.
Yes. Mr.
Zach Britton.
Zach Britton.
That's a decent guess, but no.
Let's go Craig Kimbrell.
Yes.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh. Wow.
Thank you.
Well, then
I'm
we'll go with
impressed.
his closer counterpart, Kenley Jansen.
Ooh, it's a good. one.
No.
Rob Dibble.
Rob is correct.
Come
But
on,
not. No,
fucking-
I'm sorry. The
Oh.
name Rob is correct.
Oh, Rob. Another Rob.
Another Rob.
The name Rob is Rob Nen.
Rob Ned.
Wow, great pull, Tyler. What's that? 3 or 4 now?
That is 3. You only have 2 left. I don't know a clue for these 2 that I can give
How
you.
long ago are we talking?
Yeah, well, can you give us the time frames of these remaining
So one pitched back. Oh, okay. One was a pitcher that was able to be a part of winning the 2019 World Series.
2019 was the
2019.
Nationals.
2019 was the Nationals. Good job.
Tyler Clippard.
two? Wow.
No.
All right, I give up.
No. We're invested now. Who was the closer of that team? It was before Finnegan took over.
And the other is a Japanese pitcher that
Sasaki from
no,
the
that played
Mariners.
for the Orioles, the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Cubs.
Orioles. Koji Uehara.
Koji is correct. All right, you've got one more. If I give you this one clue that I had that's not baseball related, you should 1,000% get it.
So
but
he pitched on the 19 Nationals.
Mhm.
Who was in the bullpen night? Ryan
Think of-
Madsen?
think of a doctor that could talk to animals in a movie.
Dr. Doolittle?
Sean Doolittle.
Local guy, too. Isn't he like Eustace or something? Sean Doolittle, I'm pretty sure is local.
Shawnee High School.
Shawnee. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So, correct.
Congrats, Matt Strahm, Tyler's
just-
favorite man, / Nicolas Cage. Only here to steal the Declaration
All
of
right, I've got
Independence.
one more for you
Have a
guys.
negative FIP and steal the Declaration of Independence.
Is he a
Oh,
negative
John
fit?
He
Lumberman
was. I don't
did
think he
guess
is
Sean
anymore.
Doolittle and was correct.
Wow,
Good job.
good work, John Lemon.
John Lumberman's nailing it today. You're doing fantastic. All right, I've got one more trivia for you guys.
All right, and then we're getting out of here, and then we'll get set up for the watch list.
Yes.
We're
yes.
not going until 1:45. That's crazy talk.
We just got to give our score predictions.
Because we got to go get some Gall
So-
and Company food, too.
Alec Boehm is also, of course, making some history of his own. He became the 5th Philly to record 20 or more doubles in their first 49 games of the season. Who else did this? And one guy did this twice. So there are 4 other guys that have rocked a Phillies jersey that have recorded 20 or more doubles in their first 49 games of a season. One actually did this feat twice.
Jimmy Rollins.
How many old school versus new school?
What do you classify as
Like
old school?
split.
None of these guys are on the team
Use
now.
93 as like new
Oh,
generation.
I was going to even go later than that. I was going to go
They're like
earlier
relatively
than that.
recent. We've talked about we've talked about all these
How about
guys.
Jason Worth?
I was just going to say.
Jason Worth is
I
one.
was just going to say Worth.
Did Raul Banez do it that first year? Because he was on fire out of the gate.
No.
So we're not talking like Chuck Klein era, correct?
No.
Shane Victorino.
No.
Pat Burrell.
John did say Pat Burrell, but you guys are both incorrect. Good guesses.
Dick
though.
Allen.
We're in the right like era.
Oh, it's not that
of,
far.
like-
So it's not Dick Allen. We're not that far back.
No, it's more. Most of them are more
Ryan
recent.
Howard didn't get. I mean, he had a good double.
Actually, this one is much more old. One is old. Sorry, his nickname was Spud.
I'm not getting Spud.
I didn't think he was.
Del Ennis.
So who's the other one?
Spud was Virgil Davis.
Yep. Nope.
Sure.
But the
love that guy.
others you should get. So you got Jason Worth. We got Virgil Davis. I know in the chat, Casper saying Abreu. It was not Abreu.
Scott Rowland.
We're in this.
Scott Rowland.
Okay, we're getting hotter. Keep it coming. You're getting close.
Jim Eisenreich.
Think like major names that
Duh,
are.
Darren Dalton. John
Okay.
Kruk.
Keep going.
Jesus.
Oh yes, congratulations, Justin Lentz.
I mean,
Utley did
Utley
this
was
twice.
too obvious that I just like.
I know,
didn't-
that's why I said it's pretty obvious actually. And this one, let's go back to like the 80s, 90s for this next guy.
I need to be put out of
Late
my misery
80s.
here. So why don't you just tell us?
All right, so Chase Utley accomplished it twice. Jason Worth, Virgil Spud Davis,
Not a real
and
person.
Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, nails. Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Good job. So that is exciting to see for Alec Boehm because he's making some history of himself. And it was the first time in his career that he drove in multiple runs in 3 straight games. So we'll see which streaks can continue. That was fun, guys.
We're going to wrap up the pregame show here because it's about that time. Real quick, we'll give our predictions. Not many Phillies have faced Andrew Heaney in their careers. Whit Merrifield, who is playing left field today, is 2 for 10 lifetime against him. Castellanos has actually owned him. So if you wanted to take a look at a home run prop or maybe a total bases prop or something like that, Castellanos is 5 of 6 versus Heaney in his career. Zack Wheeler has faced him twice, 0 for 2. Harper only once. Marsh only once. That being said, Renee, I think the Phillies get the sweep again today. I think they're going to take the Rangers down. I mean, you're up against Zack Wheeler. Good luck. I'm going to reach into my dumb brain real quick and say, I'm going to say 7-3 Phillies win.
Okay. I'm going to go with a Phillies win again. This is going to be sweep number 7 on the season.
Unbelievable.
And I'm going to go, I always say 8-2. I'm going to go 9-4.
All right.
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah.
And give a score, coward.
Andrew Heaney's not been very good this year. His fastball velo is down in the 12th percentile. His exit velo is actually the exact same velo as his fastball, which means it's coming in slow, but it's
leaving hard.
Leaving much more effectively. Whiff rate's pretty good. Walk rate's pretty good.
He said effectively. That was a better word.
Barrel percentage and hard hit. He's been hit around. The point of the conversation is this guy has been hit around. He does strike out a decent amount of hitters. He's got 44 in 45 innings pitched. The whip is a little bit high. I think that Heaney keeps these guys off balance for a little bit for the beginning portion of the game.
First time through the lineup.
I am going to say it's a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the Phils 4-2.
So Justin Lent in the chat also said 4-2.
All right.
Casper was saying a Cassie home run. It feels like it's happening tonight, and his score prediction is a 6-1. And then Philly 007 is 5-1. John Lemmerman is saying 6-2. So you've got 4-2. I've got 9-4. What was yours again? 7-3, I think. 7-3. All right. So we'll see who is correct because you guys
probably
in the chat
none
have
of
some
us
good
because predictions are a fucking shot in the dark. All right. We are going to be back in a little bit for the watch along party. They're now saying first pitch 1:45. We got some Gall and Company food coming in. We got Miller Lights in our hands. So life is good. Phillies they're a wagon. They're going to keep doing it with Zack Wheeler, the ace on the mound today. So looking forward to the game. We're going to send out a new link, or if you want to hit a notification shortly on our new page, we'll be going live again around 1:45 for the start of the game as the rain delay today pushed the game back about 40 minutes. And judging by my meteorologist, let's take a look here, Renee, before we get out of here. Hold on.
Well, while you're doing that, there's some more score predictions. Philly 007 is saying Wheeler's going to have 10 Ks.
Do you see any rain outside? Does anybody see any rain?
Why are you yelling?
Because it's kind of annoying that they did a rain delay with no rain. That's all.
We're
See you
talking
guys
about
for
rain.
Uh,
We all silly like the mayor.